you start with something like Palom Rydia or the twins themselves. Oh, looks like we're off.
Yeah, absolutely. And the twins actually, honestly, are a pretty solid start, because twin magic, you put both twins together, and it's a good time.
Ooh, Dark Knight Cecil. And the hook from the beginning.
Yeah, the hook is the most important thing here. I mean, in order to finish the game, our runners are going to need to find the crystal, right? That's the core item that lets you transform Zeromus, and a way to get to Zeromus, which is either the Darkness Crystal or the Pass. But the big thing is the hook is what grants us passage to the underground, potentially. There's 2 ways to do it. The Magma Key is the easy way. You throw it in a well, hole opens up, fly down. The hook is the hard way. 2 sometimes difficult bosses. Not exactly where you want to be at any given point in time, but we might just be seeing these runners have to take that route down.
As it stands, the runners are going to hope to find the Magma Key so that they don't have to go through Hook, though sometimes you can gain time by just committing immediately. As it stands, we're going to open with a Baron check for all 4 of our runners. And we're going to see that Rydia is the character found in the Baron Inn. There's also, I didn't see the boss. There are 2 bosses in the Baron Inn. One of them appears to be Golbez, so that's not the nicest. But we're going to see them running around looting for items right now, trying to find enough power for these 2 characters that don't necessarily come out the gate as strong as you would like, to be able to clear the early bosses so that they can find out what exactly route the seed's going to take, as your first few key items will indicate.
Yeah, the nice thing is that this is a T4 flag, so they will probably find power, but they haven't really found anything of great interest yet. A summon for Rydia definitely increases the value of Baron Inn. Good items in the shop would help here. It's only Silk Webs to start, so we're going to see probably a deeper shop going forward. But there was an Excalibur in the grass, which is Cecil's second best sword, but it requires a climb-up mount ordeals, which a lot of runners are kind of allergic to.
Depending on whether or not you have a few factors, Cecil is one of them, Tella is another, and Fusoya, even on a flag set like this, where not all of his spells are available at the start, they're locked behind defeating a certain number of bosses. Climbing ordeals can grant some of these characters a lot more power, and can be worth taking the 3-boss detour that you have to take in order to find out, in order to reach that spike. Right now we've got Unknown making a Hobbs check, which he's going to see who the next character is, and we have Edge sitting there guarded by Dark Knight Cecil. He's going to go right into it. Yeah. Edge is a very powerful character, and Cecil is a very abusable boss.
Yeah, with the N1 flag running, you just need to survive 3 of these waves, and it's definitely not going to do enough damage to kill off Edge. The other 2 might drop, which isn't ideal, but you're just going to have to stand here and wait a second, and you're going to add Edge to your party for free.
Edge is the character that comes on the 2nd highest level at base behind Fusoya, and unlike Fusoya as a caster, Edge is very much a strong physical fighter, so he benefits from the power that Berserk offers in this game. So he's certainly one of the characters you want to pick up quickly, because he will give you this spike and pretty much carry you by himself over the early hurdles of the game.
I mean, and he'll scale like crazy into the late game as well, so you're not unhappy seeing Edge here.
Much of ever.
Yeah, no, Edge is never an unwelcome sight unless I'm busy looking for like a 5th mage or something.
It looks like we're going to have early underground pushes from both Rumblefish and Neon Grey. They've both grabbed the hovercraft, which is required to reach Eblin Cave, and to move it, you need the hook. So Eblin Cave is what will lead us underground here. Unknown is still looking around. He's about to go pick up his hovercraft now, and we see Chokosora checking the shops in Troya and taking a tour of the overland at the moment.
Yeah, I saw Hourglass 1s there, which are really useful. They'll cast Stop on all your enemies as long as they're not bosses, which can be very handy on certain boss encounters, interestingly enough, because they're technically not boss creatures.
When you run into something like the various guards that are fought as a boss encounter in Final Fantasy IV, with the way the randomizer works, at any given location, you will have a boss that will be scaled based on the boss that you would have fought at that location. You don't know who it will be until you get there. But if it's a boss that doesn't have what is known as the boss flag, like said guards that are much like a random encounter that you would find elsewhere, items that you cast stop or instant death or any myriad of things that you wouldn't normally expect an RPG boss to be weak to can suddenly trivialize what could otherwise be a painful encounter and allow you to get somewhere that, maybe you wouldn't normally be able to find.
So we're looking at our first deviation. Rumblefish found a ton of the level 2 cast items in the item shop in Eblin Cave, which is great. They can let you power through some really early bosses by doing about 800 damage in item use, which is fantastic. And it's going to give us our first look at the character down here, while Chokasura is our first runner down in Antlion Cave, so going to give us our first look at a key item spot, and it is... Wow.
Ooh, that is not what you want to see. Those sparkles are bosses that you're going to find on the moon, which a couple of them are abusable, but in general, they're not exactly what you want to see, because they can be some of the more dangerous encounters, and Edward is also not something you necessarily want to see, as he's considered one of the weaker allies, although he does have some niche places that he does shine.
I mean, Edward can equip a bow. I mean, equipping a bow is super handy in the early game. Again, since we have level 2 use items, just having characters to soak hits is handy. Let him die, that's how it goes, and you'll be alright.
He's also fast, so oftentimes he can get an item out in scenarios where a low-level team could drop to an AoE on turn 1. So, yeah. I mean, he sees play. He, however, will not be scaling well for you in late game. We see the tower key in Antlion Cave.
Yep, and Rumblefish popped open the chest to the left of the character spot there, right before going further under into the tower, and found an adamant armor for his troubles, the best armor in the game.
Not only will it make your characters nigh invincible to things you find early in the game, and much more durable throughout your run, it also is one of the best items you can equip, one of the best armors you can equip to increase your offense as well. It's just an absolutely spectacular item.
Yep.
Putting Edge in that bad boy, and he'll carry you a long way.
Yeah, or you put Palom in that armor, and those quakes hit hard. Speaking of hitting hard, these Stalemen are pummeling Rumblefish's team right now. It's going to take 2 Boreases to kill them, and the front one might not even die because there was a low roll, so it was problematic. But he gets through all right, and Palom's going to get some necessary levels.
Well, the tower key we found in Antlion Cave for Chokasura here is a underground item as well. So it may push us further towards making that early delve underground instead of just the dip in to see who the character was. We know there's a scary boss down there, but if we can get past it, that tower key might be, the path to the crystal or Zeramis access item. We'll have to see when I imagine we're going underground, but we'll have to see when players will elect to chance that, or if they're going to continue looking until they find Magma Key or bust.
Yeah, and we're definitely going to have to go underground at some point, just because that's where your grind spots are, that's where the rest of the item shops are. So there's no reason not to at this point. And of course, our 3 runners have all added on Edge to their party now, other than Rumblefish, who's leaving the underground, it looks like. So we do have everybody running that ninja right now. And Rumblefish has a little bit of an advantage in finding that adamant armor, but otherwise, a little bit behind the pace on characters at this point.
That adamant armor can catch you up, because he's I don't know, half of a dungeon behind at the moment. But that adamant armor can save you many turns over the course of the run with how fast he's found it, depending on what other runners find.
Yeah, and if that boss in that boss spot is Ogopogo, for example, it could just save your life by making sure that your adamant armor character's in the back row, so you can take some pretty heavy melee shots and be fine.
Chokasura is going to tell us who the character is in Kaipo, which appears to be a cane, if I saw correctly, and also check the item shops. In this flag set, we have the Pass, which is an item that allows you to walk into the VIP room in the Troya Tavern. And in this randomizer, that is your quickest route to Zeramis. If we can find the Pass, then we can walk straight in, assuming we have the crystal, and fight the final boss. But the pass will be located in an item shop somewhere. It could be the one on the moon, it could be one of the ones underground, or it could just be one of these on the overworld. The players will have to find and purchase that if they want to take that route. So even checking an out-of-the-way place like Kaipo is, far more valuable in a run with a pass in a shop.
Yep, so no pass in Kaipo, though, but did find Sirens, Cabins, and Cure 3s, so 3 fantastic items. Unknown Availability is giving us our first look at Ordeal's Mountain here, and has found the D-Lunars at the first boss spot, the regular Mylon spot. Sirens are super exciting because they unlock the ability to grind dragons in the underground, the dragon eggs, for 34,000 experience apiece, which you can use to jumpstart your offense, get your party to a tenable position to fight Zeromus or difficult bosses in the underground. With this K1 flag, it's not going to be for fighting difficult bosses in the underground because the key item spots that we could find the crystal are just the main plotline location. But the option still exists to fight them if you, really want to practice or something.
Well, Rumblefish showed us a look at the item shop in Fabul before doing the Fabul defense battle against CPU here. And we saw Moon Veils, which are an incredibly powerful combat item, because they not only give you access to item-based Reflect, where you can throw Reflect up, they also make your characters immune to physical attacks for the remainder of the battle, whoever used it. And that can be used to get past many bosses that would otherwise be incredibly frightening, because they're physical attack-based. So, across the item shops, assuming we can find the money, we pretty much have the tools to get done most of the progression we want, and levels will mainly be needed to deal with Zeromus.
Yeah, so just as a quick update, so Unknown Availability has found Leviathan here as the second boss. Does not look like it has Lit 2 yet on Palom, but Fire 2 and Edge are going to get the job done, so going to get some Paladin action there. Chokasura's found Mist Dragon at the second spot here in Baron Inn, so that is a chance to double up with a key item, because the Mist Dragon also doles out a key item, because you have to go talk to Rydia's mom in Mist.
Oh, we have a rat tail for Rumblefish, which, along with the hook, will allow us to take the hovercraft to Adamant Cave to pick up another one. And did I just see an Adamant come out of that pot?
I don't know, I missed that. But it looks like Chokasura has Rydia found the Baron Key right there, so we've got a vanilla Baron Key for our troubles.
Rumblefish did, in fact, find a Adamant armor in a pot in Febble Tower, where normally that is a item that a lot of runners will skip, because it's one item, and the child walking around in various tight places can be very annoying to walk past. So we have 2 Adamant armors located already, which should make things interesting in that I imagine, actually, both of those are locations that are skippable, so we may only have 2 runners with them.
I mean, those are definitely going to be very tough to find, so, but they're helpful, but the idea is that you still got to route tightly, and you still got to get from place to place properly. But it looks like the Ordeal's item was the spoon, which is, doesn't do anything for us, but gives Edge some ammunition for throwing. It's the best throwing item in the game. And again, so we had that Baron Key in Baron, which opens up the possibility for Chokasura to check one more place before making that venture down with the hook.
It's unlikely that we'll see him able to defeat the Odin boss, although maybe we find something that at the Odin location after Baron is cleared that we can handle, in which case you could get 2 more key items before heading on down. But it's beginning to look like we're going to get a hook seed, where we have to go through Upper Babel in order to reach the underground.
I missed where Rumblefish got that pink tail from.
He got it from Adamant Cave. So Rat Tail traded for Pink Tail, traded for his second Adamant armor.
And actually, since he found one in the pot, that's his 3rd Adamant armor at this point. He had one from Eblin, one from the pot in Fabul, and now one here.
I was under the impression that Neon was the runner that picked up the Adamant in.
They also picked up the Adamant down there, but Yeah, no, Rumblefish is decked right now with adamant armors. Found life potions and star veils as well. Life potions, of course, raising you to life, and star veil casting self-reflect, which can be very handy for, again, keeping yourself alive. But of course, stacked up with edge and 19 pounds of adamant armor, our runners are probably going to be in pretty good shape for going underground.
As it stands, our runners are converging at this point. There are very few locations left for our runners to check in the overworld. Right now, we're getting towns so that runners can check for the shops and see if they can find the pass and pick up the items that are lying around for free, and mopping up the last few easy locations that other runners have already checked. So we're mostly wondering what is gated behind Baron Castle right now, and what we're going to find underground, because that is more and more looking like the route we're going to take, and we'll see which runner is the first one to take the plunge.
Yeah, I mean, Chogasur is climbing the mountain. I think, with the Excalibur in hand, definitely wants to, A, avoid the hook, and B, get his hands on that, Paladin Cecil. I rule all. How come no opening Mega Nuke? Well, one of the flags we have here is the W flag, which there's two versions of it. W just shuts off Mega Nuke. So just Wyvern will skip the first step in the script before going into the reflect portions of the script. We don't have W2 tonight, which actually just changes the Mega Nuke to something else, which is almost always better, but not quite.
Nothing like an opening Odin.
Yeah, or Big Bang.
With Paladin Cecil and Edge available to Chokosura and Unknown, I believe, are the only ones that have upgraded Cecil right now.
Yep.
With Cure 3 is available in the shop, we're looking at a world where those two characters alone could handle Zeramis with sufficient levels, but with a few more characters, Zeramis should not prove a major obstacle unless a runner is hard pushing, which in some of these tight races, you end up at Zeramis with much lower levels than you would expect, and your ability to perform in that fight can make or break your run.
Yeah, absolutely. So Neon Grey is grabbing their extra adamant armor here, so one of the nice things is that you don't have to turn in the pink tail. If it's the rat tail to pink tail, the game automatically gives up the pink tail as well. It just gives you the adamant armor, which is kind of a nice little tiny change. Rumblefish still looting, has not gotten edge yet, so has not touched Mount Ordeals at this point, or has not seen what's in Antlion Cave at this point either. Knowing that the tower key is there, which is not going to get us any underground access. Chokosur is about to get his hands on the spoon, but again, more importantly, somebody who can wield that Excal. And we have yet to find the pass in a shop. I believe Agart's shop has not yet been checked. I have not seen, so... And then it could be underground. It could be at the moon still, because we haven't seen those shops either.
Right now, I believe Rumblefish has not been... No, he does not have the spoon, so he hasn't been up Ordeals or been to Hobbs. So, knowing that Rydia is in the Baron Inn, he may be considering skipping the character locations and going for a more magic-based Zeramis fight. But I'll be very surprised if he doesn't end up with at least one of those characters on his team before the end of this. I believe he's further along than the rest of the runners in checking the shops.
Yeah.
So he can, search those locations and still converge with the remainder of the runners on Baron or Upper Babel.
Yep.
But we're going to have to see... That's likely to be the first time we could see a major diversion here.
Yeah, Scala's just, Scala Kitty, who was tracking tonight, just let us know that Agart's shop was checked, no pass. So we are still sort of hunting for it right now. I know the Mysidia shop was checked, so I think we're good on overworld shops at this point. So the pass is definitely not on the overworld at this point.
So that will leave 3 shops that you can check underground, and 1 on the moon, which means we have a 1 in 4 chance of the seed being Darkness Crystal required. And it looks like... Oh no, that's a rat tail check. I thought we had Unknown looking to dive underground.
Yeah, no, just going to get an adamant armor for all of his troubles at this point. Rumblefish is on Mount Ordeals. Chokosur is bringing his paladin down the mountain, and Neon Gray is in the middle of getting a paladin, so we are here in the middle of, looks like paladin percent, I guess.
There's been a lot of discussion within the community recently about Paladin Cecil and whether it's worth it to go out of your way to gain Paladin Cecil, or if you should just leave him as a Dark Knight, who is hands down the worst character in the game, has some very, very niche uses, but his equipment lockout really prevents him from being able to be useful.
Yep. And the correct answer on climbing ordeals, of course, is maybe. It's definitely not yes. It's definitely not no. Everyone's got a different opinion on Mount ordeals. The 3 bosses can be very trying. It's a long time sink, and if all you're getting out of it is a spoon, it's not always the best look here. Unknown availability is going to fill the party out now using, taking a moment to go ahead and add on Rydia. Same Fond Jester asking, Dark Knight Cecil can't use Adamant? Nope, the only equipment that Dark Knight Cecil can equip is Shadow Gear, Darkness Gear, Black Gear, and the Cursed Ring, and Rydia's mom has the Magma Key.
And this is the first Rydia's mom check we've seen. Where was Miss Dragon located?
It is in Baron Inn, the second boss, so everybody will be there soon enough because they're not going to want to go underground. I mean, they may all clear ordeals. Rumblefish is grinding some Liliths using some Sirens, so trying to jumpstart Palom a little bit, which is always a good look. And Neon Gray is through Leviathan. But Chokosur is probably the happiest runner we've got on the restream right now, without a doubt.
With that Magma Key, we're looking at skipping Upper Babel and that moon boss that we saw when we checked to see who Edward was. Yep. The Agart stop here means that Chokosur is almost certainly about to dive into the underground. But with Baron Inn being the location of the Demas, Chokosur just has a small head start here. Most runners were going to want to check Baron Inn, even with Golbez staring at you, before diving underground, because it's a fairly quick walk in, fight 2 bosses. You gain a character and a key item for it. The last thing you want to do is skip it and then have it be something necessary to win the game where everyone else checked it.
Yeah, and of course it will save you the trouble of getting shrapneled by whatever bosses are down below in the Upper Babel Pass, because they are dangerous spots. That's later in the plot line. I think one of the biggest things about this game is that the bosses scale based upon their location, and that location is based on the location of the plot line. Interestingly enough, you go underground with the hovercraft way later in the game than you do things like Tower of Zot, or Mount Ordeals, or Fabul Gauntlet. So what ends up happening is that those 2 bosses are exceptionally statted and exceptionally dangerous to take at like level 20.
The overworld bosses to watch out for are generally the ones you will find through Eblin Cave into Upper Babel, the one you will find in Magnus Cave at the Dark Elf spot near Troya, and the Baron Castle boss fights can be shaky for you, as they are near the end of Overworld normally. But the Odin boss spot, after you've cleared those, is truly terrifying a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's an optional boss spot as well, which is why it's exceptionally powerful as well. And Chokosur, around a little bit after 23 minutes, is our first runner underground. Finds Cure 2 potions, finds some Stardust, but does not buy any because probably already has Quake on Palom, so what do I need Stardust for when I have a caster who can do 3,000 damage to everybody?
The pass, however, was not in Dwarf Castle, which means that we have one more town and the Feymarch in order to attempt to find the pass before heading to the moon to look for it. So we're going to have to keep an eye out on where the Darkness Crystal is if we are not lucky soon.
Yeah, I mean, the Darkness Crystal is a guaranteed way underground, even if you don't have the pass. It just takes time to make the walk.
This is interesting. Neon Gray is searching the Mist Dragon vanilla spot. What has to be a look for Mist Dragon with an instant reset, which means that Neon has not yet done the Baron boss fight and is searching for a Mist Dragon that isn't here.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smart check, though. Not if they don't know what's going on yet. They don't know where the you know, they don't know where the Mist Dragon is, so you might as well check these easy bosses because you could take them down fairly swiftly.
If you find a Mist Dragon that's required in one of these locations, or even one that helps you along your way, it can be a huge leg up over runners that haven't checked those locations, and especially if you have Fusoya and you need to defeat bosses to power up Fusoya in this run. Yep. It's unfortunate for him. It's not necessarily a wrong check. It just happens to be wrong in this particular seed, and now he's going to find out why.
Well, at the Winyan Gray's Day, but they are now going to end up seeing the Mist Dragon in just a moment, which will be just fine. Chokasura going to put those sirens to most excellent use here. This is the Yellow Dragon grind, where there are dragons underground, and they are worth 34,000 experience a pop with only 1,800 hit points. So he's throwing an hourglass, stopping them in place, and then killing them off, but didn't get the hourglass off in time, and Hallam got elbowed by the dragon and is currently laying down.
I'm not certain if he only wanted the EXP from one dragon fight to jumpstart him before diving in here, or if he left because Palom fell down. But either way, we're going to get our Famars check here.
Yeah, which is definitely going to be good.
If you get, with our current flag set, if you get to 10 key items located, the experience that you gain from encounters is doubled to facilitate making the grind before Zeramis, which is near required in certain seeds, a lot simpler. So you hope not to have to do a lengthy grind before you've reached that threshold.
Yep.
The 10 key item mark. So it's very possible that he just wanted one level to make it so that bosses are more survivable. But right here we'll find the pan in the Feymarch chest, which can be used to open up a couple more key items with the Yang questline.
Yep, no pass though. The shop is pass free. Did also find a Murasame for Edge, so Edge's second best sword, which, you know, gonna go a long way towards powering up his offensive capability with his two melee fighters. Excal on one and Murasame on Edge on the other is gonna be good times, without a doubt. And of course the pan
Diamond armor's on both.
Yep, and the pan is gonna send Chokasura flying straight north into my favorite location in the game, the Sylph Cave.
Well, that makes one of us. Sylph Cave and other flag sets can be very interesting. But for here, we're just going to see the runners run down to the bottom and talk with our friend Yang. This will allow us to get a key item here. With the pan, we can then return to Fabul and talk to Yang's wife to pick up an additional 2 key items.
Yep, and of course, but we are definitely about to enact some cranial violence on Yang. I don't know why, that seems really mean. The Sylphs do hand out an item, and it is a white spear, so if the Sand Ruby pops up, we've got Kane's best weapon as well sitting around our inventory, or, well, Edge could throw that. It does a lot of damage.
We'll certainly take throwing fodder even if we can't pick up Kane, and if we pick him up, then suddenly we have 3 of the greatest melee fighters that the Final Fantasy series has seen. We have our final underground chop check coming up right now with Chokasura, and no pass. We're headed for the moon, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, we are Darkness Crystal required. Without the pass, well, we cannot get to Zeromus without heading up to the lunar subterrane, or at least to the Hummingway shop to buy a pass for ourselves. So the hunt is now on for the Crystal and the Darkness Crystal, and we're starting to sort of push through a lot of locations. Unknown availability is going to get the pan, which is pretty fantastic, as is our second runner on the underground side. Neon is doing a little bit of shopping for Sirens, Cabins, and Cure 3s while hanging out in Kaipo, and then they're likely to head up underground as well. Rumblefish just got Edge and is now checking the back chests here. I think Cecil has exit, so is going to make a quick escape from here after getting a Sork Robe, and a Leviathan summon, which will help for Rydia once he heads over to the Baron Inn.
Even with the tower key, where you can get both of the items that are hidden in Lower Babel Tower, we see Chokasura leaving the underground to go and cash in these 2 easy items in Fabul. Oh, and apparently we haven't made a Fabul shop check either. Or we're looking to buy Moonveils.
Yeah, well, actually, it has not been to Fabul yet, because they don't have the rat tail, so when they got the hook and magma key, it looks like they were probably making this as a double-up trip. and so ends up going to have the double-up trip. As of right now, Chief Salad, yeah, Chokasura has a slight advantage. Is definitely routed a little bit tighter than everybody, so it's a little bit out in front of the team right now. Unknown Availability is working on finding out the bad news that the pass doesn't exist on the underground either, and is probably our second place runner right now. And Rumblefish has not checked Baron in yet, or Antlion Cave, and is headed to the underground instead.
Brave man, it's going to be rough to pull it back if he discovers later that the magma key was in the D-Mist at Baron Inn all along.
Yeah.
I'm not certain how many shops Chokasura has checked in the overworld, or if the reason that Chokasura is running ahead right now is because of skipping a fair number of them. So there could be some extra time for the rest of our runners to make up the gap.
Yeah, I mean, Chokasura did skip Fabul, but that's a pretty short check, all things considered. And also did not go underground at all with the hook, so I think that's where the advantage really came from, was not even considering the character there and just deciding it was time to race around the world to try to find the magma key, and got rewarded pretty heavily. So, you know, sitting pretty right now with that little bit of an early lead.
The two items we're about to find from Yang's wife and the tower are the major spots left for our runners to check. I believe we also haven't seen the Dwarven Castle boss fight. I think Chokasura elected not to take that battle, considering that Rydia is still Kidia.
Yeah, I mean, that's how that goes. First item is the Earth Crystal, so that's not quite the crystal we want. But that one right there, that's the crystal we want to see. Chokasura's got the crystal. No way to get to Zeromus, but that is our first crystal sighting of the day, so the pan was necessary. Crystal was routed, pan to Sheila with the crystal.
We'll see Chokasura heading back underground soon. We're looking for the... With that Earth Crystal, it could be in Zot. The item in Zot could be what's required to find our route to Zeromus.
Yeah.
We only have that tower and Dwarven Castle left to check, knowing what all four runners know.
Yep. Unknown Availability joins Team Cranial Trauma here, bashing Yang with the pan, so likely to get a pair of crystals for his troubles at this point. And Neon Grey is taking on Mylan in Baron Castle. It's the second boss after Dancing Dolls. So after this is going to get the first look at the Baron Trash Can, which has a key item inside instead of an airship.
Well, we already have one of those, so we'll take the key item.
Yeah, we didn't need an airship anyway. We're in good shape. Rumblefish will have 2 by the end of this.
Rumblefish is a collector. As it stands now, we're waiting on Unknown Availability is currently taking a look at the shops in Troya. Likely has something he's looking to pick up. And Chokasura appears to be looking for the character. No, he has not been underground. He's not checked the shop in Eblin Cave yet for the pass.
Yeah, definitely still on the pass hunt now. Is about to find the bad news. Has a full picture of the shop selection, and it includes everything but one thing. So he will be looking to get the Darkness Crystal. So his adventure will continue at this point. He was looking for Go Mode, and instead he gets No Mode. So, you know, he's not feeling pretty good about this, I don't think. And I guess he's going to try and grab the character down here, and he's going to get Edward Mode instead, which is also not a good mode to be in.
Chokasura also has hit the 10-item mark. No, Unknown Availability has as well. So the EXP they get from this point forward will be 200%. So assuming that either of these runners gets to Go Mode, or Neon, if they reach Go Mode, if they obtain another key item, they need a few more.
No,
I can't count. I'm seeing 8. I'm seeing 10 in my head. It's only Chokasura that has 10.
Unknown Availability will hit 10 once he heads over to Fabul Castle and talks to Sheila, and then hands off the pan, because that will get the crystal and the Earth Crystal, which will put them at 10. Chokosura saw Edward and went, "Yeah, I'm good," and mashed that reset button like life depended upon it. Did not want any part of that action.
Especially in a world where you're not looking to cast Exit, saving before you enter an area that only has a chance of giving you something you want, especially in a place like Sealed Cave or a Fabul check or a Eblin check like that, can save you a lot of time backtracking.
Yep, but you know, if that were like Fusoya, he'd be waiting patiently and then casting Exit like the rest of us would. But now he's going to give us our first look at the tower. Rumblefish is going to take on this lunar boss at the tower spot. It's Pale Dim. Fairly nasty meleeer, but Adamant Armor is going to hold up to that pretty well. Slow counters every physical attack, so will basically tries to tie up your party, and with your party slowed down too much to do damage, pummel you to death with the Serpentine Body.
We're going to pick up the Crystal and the Earth Crystal for unknown availability. Chokosura already in the tower, so the two tower items to come up fairly quickly. Rumblefish is about to make it underground, so we'll find out what route he chooses to take. Neon's found our good friend Sid. I didn't see where though.
That was in Baron Castle. That was the reward for the Baron key was Sid and the Luca key. So that's access to Sealed Cave. And again, since we're still kind of hunting for the Darkness Crystal, that might come into play. They may gamble it, they may not. I don't quite know yet. But Chokosura is at the top of the tower, and it looks like we've got another lunar boss. I think we're out of lunar bosses other than we saw Double Dragons, so this has to be Plague. Nope, this is Wyvern. Wyvern not Mega Nuking, of course, but still not exactly who you want to see in a spot with a ton of hit points and good speed, because the nukes are going to start flying.
Wyvern is a boss so dangerous that this randomizer has a flag set specifically to determine his behavior. Normally the boss opens up with Mega Nuke, which even at a incredibly weak boss location is strong enough to delete your team until well into your run.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of team deletion, Wyvern is still doing it one at a time, but if you can keep up with life potions, you can stay ahead of the wave, you'll be alright, but if you can't, then you get into a lot of trouble very quickly, as Chokosura is discovering right now.
We're in Zot for Unknown, finding our friend Bagan, while...
made a little bit of an error, though, here. Party's at 1 hit point.
Ooh!
Yeah, that one's a bit of an issue. Don't forget to safety save, everybody. Chokosura, however, decides to nope out of that incredibly slow Wyvern fight, and is probably going to take the tower key item and call it a day. We could have Wyvern blocking up the Darkness Crystal in a tough spot with good speed. That would be real interesting.
The question now is, if this item isn't what Chokosura is looking for, will he stop and level to make that Wyvern fight simpler, or is he going to continue on with his life and see what else he can find? Mega Sisters at the Imp spot, they should fall down rather quickly.
Yeah, they're splitting that Imp hit point pool, so they should have about 200 for the Outer Sisters, and I think about 600 for the Inner. Needless to say, this is what you want to see, I guess, for the Mega Sisters. This is probably one of the better spots to see them, because they're pretty nasty. Unknown availability takes out Baigan without much thought, though, which is pretty awesome for starting that party without having healed at all.
Courageous is the word for Unknown right now, and save is the second word for Unknown right now.
Yeah, bravery indeed, but
there's the cabin.
Right, now it's time to top back up and make sure that everything is okay.
Neon is about to find the pan in the Feymarch, which opens up their Crystal and Earth Crystal. So, not too far behind to overcome for certain, especially if Sealed Cave is what houses your Darkness Crystal.
Yep. And of course, Chokosura is still in the process of noping out of Wyvern. again, did not enjoy getting burnt up to a crisp. Unknown availability has found Old Sage Tella at the top of Zot, so instead of dying, we bring him back to life here. That doesn't make a lot of sense. More importantly, though, he's rewarded with the duplicate Kane, the one duplicate in this no free lunch seed. So, you know, it's White Spear time.
Neon looks to be taking the pan immediately to Sealed Cave in order to wall up our friend Yang. He's having a rough day.
Everyone gets to see the Sylphs today. Chokasur, of course, may still need to go back to the Tower of Babel. His reward for turning in the Tower Key was an Adamant Rock. So, with Excalibur already in hand, the Rock is probably the last thing you wanted to see. Immediately takes that Adamant Rock to Dwarf Castle in hopes of getting the Darkness Crystal.
We've already seen the... No, I don't believe we have. I was going to say we'd already seen it because I thought that Unknown had checked it, but I believe I'm incorrect here. With Dr. Lugay guarding the crystal here, we're going to get to find out another key item. We're going to see little Rydia grow up.
Yep, Neon joins Team Brain Basher there as they take out their frustrations on Yang's skull. Unknown availability found Odin here at the top of Zot in the second boss spot, but takes him down without much concern. And so we're going to find out what we get from Rose's bedroom after the Earth Crystal scene.
Right now, we're only looking for the Darkness Crystal. Anything else is an means to an end.
Yep. Of course, Neon does not know that they are only featured runner with access to Sealed Cave right now, but with the Earth Crystal in hand, may be likely to climb the tower instead. Chokasur is rewarded with the best character in the game for his troubles here, but has to get through the football gauntlet in order to keep her. But Rose is on the team now, so Team White Mage, engage.
Ooh, the package for unknown availability for going through the Tower of Zot, which is not what you want. The reward there is access to another boss fight in case you need demist and a character. So back underground for unknown. We will soon see from Chokasura after well, maybe not so soon. This is the Football Gauntlet fight, which is 6, I believe, individual fights.
Yep, it's usually lovingly known as 16 guys on something, a throne, you know, in a hallway, you know, engaging you in a hallway. I don't know. There's, you know, they're everywhere, but you know, that's how it goes, and it takes a while, and we make fun of it. But at this point, it could be the thing we need to do to finish this seed.
Neon soon to find out that the past is MIA. Neon may be in the lead here. We're uncertain. It will depend on the routing choices, because there are still a large number of locations that Neon could check, but if our Darkness Crystal is in Sealed Cave, Neon is the only runner with that access available.
Yeah, but does Neon want to check the Sealed Cave is the trouble thing. It's a difficult boss spot, all things considered, just because it's very fast. And it's a decently long check. You're going to burn up about 3.5 minutes for the walk down. Is it worth it? Well, it's up to Neon to decide if that's the case.
Normally, to see a Sealed Cave check this early, you're looking to make a call in a race environment based on the tools you have available to you. You know you went to Barren Cave early if you suspect that other runners didn't, and that you're going to be behind as a result. If you're wrong, then you just take the route that that will lead you on the road to victory, potentially. But it looks like we're going to get a Dwarf Castle check first. I don't know if they'll just check the item shop, or if they're going to examine the boss, Dr. Lugay, and the gauntlet there. Yeah, we're about to find out. Go ahead.
With a lot of bosses to go, there's a good chance that they decide to continue engaging at this point in time. It might be an anything to avoid sealed cave play here, which does happen sometimes. But Chokasura is going to give us our first look, while unknown availability is about 4 or 5 boss fights behind on this location right now.
I believe aside from those boss battles and the adamant, that unknown is right behind Chokasura.
Yep. Rumblefish turned into Pan now.
Now we get a look at the item here. We're going to find the Twin Heart that opens up Magnus Cave east of Troya. We may get to go and find out what sick jams Edward has prepared for us today.
I'm into that play at this point. We do it for the fans. Chokasura still also has the Earth Crystal check on the table, while unknown availability, once finishing this up, will be Baron Key or Twin Harp, while Chokasura's current checks are either Earth Crystal, Baron Key, or Twin Harp.
Where was the Adamant located?
The Adamant Rock was located at the Tower Key location. Just as a quick update to everybody, 46 minutes into this race, we opened on the hook, which made our runners very unhappy. They found the Tower Key in Antlion's Cave. The Rat Tail was located at Fabul, which, of course, you had the hook. You turn it in, you got a pink tail. I don't know why the Tail Collector did that, but just decided to slap an Adamant armor on you at that point, which is great. Baron had the Vanilla Baron Key. Ordeals just had the Spoon, but also had Cecil, who had an Excalibur from the Grass and Baron, so was in good shape for weapons, so it was a good check. The Magma Key, however, was located at Rydia's mom because the Mist Dragon was also in the Baron Inn, so our runners got the easy way under, except Rumblefish decided to take the hard way and schooled it, which was awesome. Early checks to the Fey March gave us the Pan. Sheila's 2 items were double crystals, Earth and Main Crystal, so our Axis transforms Aromas. Baron Castle gave us a Luca Key with Sid. The Tower Key location gave us the Adamant, but the top of the tower remains unchecked. Looks like Chokasura has taken a second chance because Wyvern was torching people at the top even without Mega Nuke. The package was located at Tower of Zot, and the Twin Harp was just achieved by a pair of our runners, unknown availability, and Chokasura, here at Dwarf Castle. At large still, most importantly, the Darkness Crystal, and we know the pass is for sale for 10,000 gold pieces at the Hummingway shop on the moon.
Chokasura is substantially more powerful than they were the last time they were here. A Dragon Whip on Rydia will allow her to bonk Wyvern for substantial damage with just more levels. A fight that was, possible but would have taken a long time should take substantially less time if he can stay ahead of the Nuke Brigade.
Yeah, and of course goes right into the pack. First thing looking for is going to fling the spoon at Wyvern. Again, resources mean nothing if you don't spend that cash, so decides that that's the play here, and I don't blame him. That's exactly the right play.
This boss could be more intimidating than the Zeramis we'll see at the end, because of the levels at play. You're going to be at such a lower level for killing this Wyvern than you will be for fighting Zeramis, which is any runner that's played a few of these seeds has plenty of experience dealing with Zeramis in the field. So spinning the spoon is certainly a decision I agree with, and it looks like we're getting a grind out of unknown availability.
Oh, definitely a good call here. Just getting yourself ready for whatever may come. You're at 10 key items. If this is the party you want to lock in on, and it's a solid party, right? 3 Bruisers, Palom, and a White Mage. Rosa's a good 5th character to find there. So it looks like unknown availability is just going to jam out his levels right now and then get ready to fight some bosses. Chokasura finds the Legend Sword from Wyvern. Wyvern's got a blank for us, and time marches on. It's either at Luca Cave, Winheart. We are starting to run out of locations here.
Could also be Odin. We haven't seen that either, I believe.
Just remember that the boss spots, the summon boss monsters, are not key items in K1, so Odin spot's not going to have anything but a powerful weapon or armor, hopefully. But we will not be seeing that today.
I have my flags crossed.
Yeah.
So
Neon found Rosa, and Neon found the gauntlet as well, so they're going to be in for a little bit of sitting and also waiting.
Chokasura stepping into Magnus Cave here, we're going to get to attend a concert and cross off one of the remaining 2 Darkness Crystal possible locations left.
Yep, and of course, as always, for the fans, as I know for a lot of us, myself included, this is one of our favorite parts, if not our absolute favorite part of the randomizer.
When I first joined this community and had to go to Magnus Cave for one, the first time I saw something like this, I was astounded and I had a wonderful time. I hope Edward's got his best material prepared for us today.
I mean, everyone's sad when they don't get to hear this music on a race stream, but, you know, first, Chogasura's got to get his team killed. I'm going to try and speed up the process by having Palom Virus himself successfully does so for 2,500 damage.
When you walk into that battle with a magnetized character, they're already taken out, so if you can equip a metal armor on as many people as possible and then kill the remainder, it speeds that up dramatically.
Got that speedrun tech too. That's from the FF4 speedrun. Interestingly enough, you take the Iron Glove from Kane so that you can slap it up on I believe Sid, because he's the only one who's not going to be magnetized otherwise. Yeah, what a pretty rendition of Tizanarkin from 10, out of doubt.
With this Dark Elf encounter, we're going to find either the Sand Ruby or the Darkness Crystals, so the end draws near. Though if Chogasura does not find the Darkness Crystal here, Chogasura will have to go all the way through Baron in order to obtain the Luca Key.
And then go all the way through Sealed Cave to potentially attain the Darkness Crystal to head on up to the moon.
I did not see how many levels Unknown elected to grab, but taking a look at his health totals, that is a position from which you could fight Zeramis, though a couple more levels would make me more comfortable. If you play well, that is certainly doable. But checking Tower right now will come up empty for Unknown, so he'll have to continue pushing in order to find the required items to get into that Zeramis boss fight.
Yep, Rumblefish looking like doing some shopping in Baron, and Chogasura, moment of truth, as the Darkness Crystal, music required for everybody this seed. But Chogasura at 52 minutes and 30 seconds, 52 hours would be a heck of a seed. 52 minutes and 30 seconds is in go mode, is headed out very happily with the ill-gotten gains of the Darkness Crystal instead of the Earth Crystal here, and is gonna ship it up to the moon now.
It's a substantial lead compared to our other runners at the moment, but you can always bobble it on Zeramis.
Yeah, definitely is going to need to do a little bit of grinding here for sure, so I'm going to look for some supplies before summoning the whale at this point.
Bacchus Wine's important because they are an item-based berserk for your characters. Berserk in this game is incredibly powerful because the ATB systems that have become commonplace in RPGs nowadays were still newfangled contraptions when Final Fantasy IV was released, so you don't get to see the bar. But the bar continues ticking while your menus come up and you have to navigate to the fight command in Final Fantasy IV. Berserk allows you to skip that middleman altogether and cheat out many more turns than you would normally, so Bacchus Wines are always a wonderful pickup.
Yep, Rumblefish is now making his Baron in check and is going to find the Mist Dragon here, is going to get Rydia, is going to get his Baron Key. Unknown availability is about to get a Legend Sword, which is not what you want, but it's what you get. But of course, this party has a ton of health and is just going to stand up to these nukes without too much issue, which is fantastic to see. Looks like Neon Gray is also loading up to wander the tower, so is going to get is going to get a lot of nothing for their troubles as well, but it's going to get them some experience points.
This trip to the moon will yield the pass, as we've seen every other shop available. You have to expect a grind either here on the moon with King Ryu's, or a return to the underground in order to grind the Thunder Dragons before attempting to challenge Zeramis.
Yep, I mean, may also just go back home and do 68,000 experience point dragons at this point, but there's our beloved pass, some coffins, but not buy any coffins. Hops in the whale, and we'll see where he decides to go.
Seems to be Bahamut for a King Ryu grind, which is one of the premium grind locations for when you're gearing up for Zeramis.
Yep, there are 2 dragons, and with the doubled experience, if you can life glitch the first one that you kill, which of course lets you throw a life at a dead unit, which in this case for an enemy reses it to 0 health, essentially making the system think you killed it twice. You can get 180,000 experience points per fight here. It is a good way to level up a mid-game party to an end-game party fairly swiftly.
While Chokasura takes care of that, unknown availability is grabbing his adamant, I believe is the item here, before being forced to either fight the Wyvern or else retreat to Magnus Cave or Baron.
Mm-hmm. Yep, the fights here at Dwarf Castle are long, but they are necessary. Yep, unknown availability is running out with the Legend Sword in hand, is headed on down, so it's a little ways to go yet. It's a log walk to the bottom of the tower. There's Chokasura, 180,000 experience points, going to tack on about 7 levels to the party right now, so off to a pretty fantastic start on the grind already.
Neon staying ahead of the nukes with life items.
Yep, and
looking to take down Wyvern and collect his adamant.
Yep, and Sid looks like Sid has has Artemis arrows, which do quad damage to dragons, which is good times. So, gonna pull apart the dragon and get the Legend Sword. I mean, could have done better, I guess, but you know, you get what you get. Unknown availability, considering options. Looks like gonna forge the Excalibur for another piece of throwing ammunition for Edge at this point.
Despite electing to check Baron where Unknown has not, Neon is rather close behind Unknown, and both are looking to be somewhat ahead of Rumblefish right now.
Yeah, I mean, Rumblefish is going to get the Twin Harp, and so if decides to dive the music immediately, could make up a lot of ground from that bumpy early game.
I mean, it really doesn't matter, you know, what route you took underground if you don't check half the locations everyone else did.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good way to speed up, is to guess correctly.
Guessing right is profitable, not just at the casino.
You know,
the grind continues for Chokasura, and it's going to be hard to chase that one down for these runners.
Yeah, Chokasura is going to be killing off Cecil. I believe Cecil's level 45 and has precisely 28 agility, which has a lot to do with the Zeromus fight, and the mathematics behind it are very complicated because the ATB in Final Fantasy IV barely works, but works. So we go with it, and we just know that 28 is an optimal number for Cecil for agility, and you know, we'll keep the party in good working order.
To briefly summarize how ATB functions, it's all based around how much faster or slower you are than Cecil. So keeping his agility to precise numbers is what will pay out in the end.
Right, and it has to do with it's all relative agility. So the enemy relative agility has to do with it as well. Since Zeromus's agility is 69, it means that 14 ends up being the optimal number because 14 times 5 is 70. So it ends up working out that it is optimal that you have your agility in your anchor spot as a multiple of 14.
Unknown making the Magnus Cave dive. He's going to get to listen to his music soon, and will enter go mode, fairly close behind Chokasura. Neon now is escaping the tower, and we'll see if they decide to delve Luca Cave or retreat to Magnus Cave.
Yeah, the major thing here is that the big thing is that unknown availability is already ground most of the way up, and could just go Moon and do the run to Zeromus through the underground at this, or through the lunar subterranean at this point. That option does exist right now if he does not want to grind anymore. And of course, Neon Gray is going to get baited by the Luca key from Baron, because that's how we roll today. It always happens to someone, and it's going to happen to Neon.
It's not necessarily a wrong check. Once more, it's another one of those situations where, while it may be wrong on this particular seed,
got the item at hand, you might as well make the move, right?
Well, I mean, you have to leave the underground and come back later if Luca Cave is what you seek.
True.
Which is always a bad feeling. You want to try and get as much done in the area you are possible before leaving. But in this particular case, he's going to regret that dive.
Yeah, they're just gonna get. They're gonna get the Sand Ruby, which we know leads to Kane, which is not the worst prize. But Chokasura is done and dusted with the grind at this point. Has decided it's time to go, and it's going to do one last quick shopping trip here to probably grab Cure 3s. Yeah, and Unknown Availability is also about to enter go mode here.
Cure 3s are incredibly powerful healing items that can replace a White Mage entirely in a pinch, and having them on hand will make Zeromus a lot safer.
Yeah,
it means if the White Mage falls over, you're all right.
But why would you ever want to replace a White Mage?
Say that after you watch Porum get hit with a big bang.
Looking over at the SRL chat, it looks like we do have a first place finisher this evening. We have Hippos in over the line at 1 hour, 2 minutes, and 58 seconds. So GG to Hippos tonight on the win.
Well done on the first place. Congratulations. Here we'll see Chokasura seeing if he can lock up second, walking underground with the pass right now. We're about to see a Zeromus boss battle on stream.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing, though, is that Chokasura will not be locking up second place, as Invenerable has snuck in over the line as well, about 30 seconds off the pace, 103 and 32 seconds here.
Unknown is elected to gain a few more levels, and Rumblefish, despite his shaky start, has elected to dive directly into Sealed Cave upon finding the Twin Heart, and will be rewarded with his Darkness Crystal.
Yep, and of course, more importantly, chat knows what time it is, but we're going to make sure that we make sure that chat's aware. Whose butt are we going to kick this fine evening? And while Chokasura winds up with that crystal right now, it looks like we do have a third place finisher. We have Couch 23 at 104.45. We're going to hold back on finishers at this point because there is a little bit of stream delay. So we are going to let this play out as we find Garland. the classic, the original, the man who's going to knock you all down.
Well, we'll shortly see who falls down here. A Bacchuswine Rydia going in with her Dragon Whip.
Yeah, it looks like everyone's getting Bacchus wine at this point. Rumblefish is gonna take on the Dark Elf now, so is gonna get rewarded very happily with the Path to the Moon, which will wrap up the run in terms of key items for Rumblefish. Unknown availability is popping the whale and is headed on up. I think they just wanted to hammer off a couple more levels, get to the point where they're happy, and they're going to make the straight long run. They're just going to take that long run down. It's about another 3.5 minute run to the bottom underground. So
Neon making their way out of the sealed cave. I believe all that they have left to check now is Magnus Cave. For the Darkness Crystal to put them on track to go mode.
Yep, first Big Bang nerf, Chokosura, good shape.
Timing black magic attacks, or white magic, on Zeramis at precise intervals will allow you to greatly reduce the amount of damage that Big Bang does for the small price of eating a nuke to the face.
Yep, but the big thing here is that also throws up the veil on Palom, and it's going to reflect some viruses for a little bit of extra DPS here. While Neon has decided it's time to dumpster the mage and is going to go really hard on Berserkers as she adds Kane to her quintet.
Rosa and the Merry Men is a considerably powerful Zeramis party. Berserkers are wonderful.
Especially with access to Bacchus wine, you just crack those bottles and you go to town. Looks like unknown availability has come back to Earth here and is going to use the pass to make the move back, which I think is actually marginally faster. So this does make sense here. And unknown availability is going to see if he can save Princess Sarah tonight. We are saving Princess Sarah, right? Not the world?
We can call it that, if you'd prefer.
I mean, it's canon, right?
If you knock Garland down, then yes, you do get a bridge out of Corneria.
Alright, damage coming out from Chokosura's 3 Berserkers at this point in time. One being Rydia, but still, we take what we can get when we can get it.
This fight seems well in hand. If something horrible were to happen, then unknown availability could slip in ahead. But I do believe Chokosura has this one in hand.
I mean, nuke coming out from Zeromas means the damage output has been enough to push it over from into the mid phase, but not quite enough damage to get to Medio right off the bat. And this Big Bang is going to come out. Rydia died to the counter nuke, or died to the nuke. I believe that was a counter nuke here. But does get a successful nerf off, so the remainder of the party, 100%, no problem. They're all going to be just fine. All right, but Crystal Sword swings coming out, or Excalibur swings, excuse me. They have the same sprite. But now Rocks fall, and it looks like Rocks fall, and nobody. Well, nope, sorry, Palom dies. Not that that matters. Cecil avoids it. Edge is alive. Everything is pretty good.
Cure 4 should lock things up for Chokosura.
Yeah, Chokosura should be in fantastic shape here. Pretty textbook fight, sure. Going to be a couple more Berserker swings, and we should be seeing it all over now. Crack and a boom, crash and bang. Down goes Zeromus. Chokosura is our number 5 finisher tonight at 108.39. In between, we had Sonny Wrath 11, runner of many, many games, crossing over from multiple communities. 106.19 for, I believe, his best finish in a community race, so GD to both.
Well done to everybody across the finish line so far. We have a few more runners to wrap up here. We should be seeing Neon obtain their go mode shortly. Rumblefish heading back from the moon, I believe. in order to go challenge Zeramis himself, and Unknown currently in the middle of a fight with Palom taking a nap.
Palom's good for that. You know, again, Mage is kind of squishy, but doesn't look like that's a concern. The concern was getting the front line berserked up and Rosa in the back with the Cure 4 action, so just need to keep everybody hale and hearty here, and this should be, again, a slow, steady, but very, very textbook fight.
Berserkers are what you would call the default option for the Zeramis battle. Mages can provide great value. You can get some quick kills using reflected nuke strats, but the big aid that Palom has provided Unknown over the course of this run is Quake. The powerful AoE spell clearing out encounters quickly. You know, the boy can take a nap now.
Yep, and we have Unknown Availabilities fight going on, but we are joined by our number 5 finisher tonight, Chogasura. GG tonight.
Well done.
Thank you.
Right, so getting back to basics here with a little bit of a league qualifier action. So I know you ran a ton of these back in the day, but how is it to get back in the old school groove a little bit?
Oh my goodness. I've said it before, I haven't ran a league qualifier. It felt weird to me running this flag set tonight, because I haven't ran it in so long. I don't know, just felt weird. But 5th place isn't too bad.
No, pretty solid. You lost to a lot of really good runners, and that's going to happen sometimes for sure. It's always tough.
Yeah.
You know,
I saw Invenable in the race and Couch. I figure, okay.
Respectable.
Yes.
Yeah, but you know, you've been putting together some fantastic runs for months now, so I wouldn't certainly wouldn't sell yourself short without a doubt.
Right.
Right, so...
Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I know I lost some time to Wyvern when I reset on him and then left the tower, and then went back and found the Legend Sword. I was kind of worried that the Darkness Crystal was there after figuring out the pass wasn't on Earth or in the underground. I figured it was on the moon. So I knew I was going to lose some time there checking him.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tough break for sure. It's just a little bit too fast for your 4-character party at first. Of course, you had to go back. You know, I don't think you would have left it behind. And, you know, blanking on that spot was probably the big time sink for you tonight. Everything else looked really smooth, all things considered. Checks were good, routing looked pretty solid, so you know, not a lot of criticism from the booth tonight for sure. You know, it looks like you locked up the fight with, you know, a pretty standard Berserker lineup, but you were still reflecting some viruses and you're actually even nerfing Big Bangs in the mid fight, which is a fantastic skill to have, admittedly. It's nice when you've got the safeties to do higher level Zeromus, but when you've got to do low level Zeromus, it's nice to be able to pull that off.
Yeah, and I had to do something with Palom anyway. I knew Vidya wasn't going to be able to do much there other than just, you know, attack. I didn't have nuke with her. I mean, J2, I don't really, you know, go for nuke on her since you learn it so late. And that's just going to cost me more time. So I just figured, what the heck, just go, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a lot of sense. I mean, you had the Dragon Whip. You deserved her up, so she was able to give a little bit of ancillary damage.
Yeah.
Just as a quick update, Unknown Availability just got to Meteor Phase on Zeromus. Neon Grey just got their Darkness Crystal, and Rumblefish is deciding to hug some eggs.
Now that I think about it, oh, go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
Now that I think about it, I probably could have just reflected viruses with her too, but I don't know.
It all worked out in the end, which is really what matters. You definitely have a lot of options in that instance.
At the end of the day, you managed to save the time inputting things by berserking her. Certainly not a poor decision.
Yeah, we do have a spate of finishers here just to get through. I know we're holding finishers just to make sure we don't make any errors with stream delay. Flurry 14 was our 6th place finisher, 111.40. Silver Star 6609, one of our most prolific runners, and an old school FF4 speedrunner, 112.37 for 7th place. Unknown Availability on stream got to save Princess Sarah for all of you right on stream, 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 37 seconds. And Dusty Griff hit the line just now at 9th place, 1 hour, 14 minutes, and 30 seconds. And it looks like Unknown Availability is here.
our remaining 2 runners on stream in the middle of a grind right before their own Zeramis challenge. Shouldn't be too much longer now.
Yep, Neon is a little bit behind on the grind because they were a little bit behind getting the Darkness Crystal because they were our only runner to check the Luca Cave.
Where was Luca Key, by the way?
It was in Baron. I believe that Neon was the only runner to check Baron as well.
You know, I'm so glad I didn't. I was thinking about checking Baron when I had the choice between Baron or Earth Crystal or Twin Harp. I just decided to, you know, pick one and go for it.
Not agonizing over decisions is how you make is how you save time.
Yeah, I was definitely thinking about Baron though.
I mean, you always do, but you know, you ended up picking correctly, which ends up working out in your favor. So that was pretty good. And of course, we are joined this evening also by unknown availability, our 8th place finisher tonight, GG.
Yeah, thank you. GG Chakasura being, you know, first amongst the restreamed.
Thanks. GG to you too.
Yeah, so I think I've been playing a little bit too much 2v2 because I'm sitting here thinking to myself like, wait, no, don't go there. Don't check for Flame Dog. Don't check for for trap chests. And I'm sitting here trying to remind myself it's not K4.
Yeah, as a part of team, I've been playing only K4 for the past month. Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
Man, when I decided to actually do Baron, well, I already planned once I found the Excalibur and Baron, I was like, I'm doing ordeals as soon as possible. I'm gonna even do that probably before I do Fabul, and then I did that, got, you know, Pestle all like geared up and everything like that, and then it just started falling into place, and then I decided to do Baron in and got my Magma Key, and I was like, oh cool, no need to do Hook.
Yep. This is now an easy seed. Congratulations on the free pass and all that. But interestingly enough, Rumblefish did the path through the Hook anyways, and ended up having a good time of it, even though it was a pair of lunar bosses.
Yeah, I saw one of them up in top of tower because I was worried about the whole reason I did Dwarf Castle was because I needed a healer, and it was between Baron and Dwarf Castle at that point of where I was going to go. That's why I did Earth Crystal, because I wanted a healer, and I was like, that's the biggest density of characters and an item. And of course, it gave me a whole lot of nothing. It gave me, I want to say, a dupe, and no, it gave me a dupe in the form of Kane, where Kane was sitting in a bed, and Tella, and I'm like, that's not a healer game. That's not a healer at all. And so I had to either do Baron, which I figured was going to take a lot longer than just doing Dwarf Castle. So just did Dwarf Castle, found Rosa, and I was like, great, now I just need to get the Darkness Crystal to go get the pass, because there's no other shop. And then it was between Baron and Nasty Music, and hey man, I gotta give the chat their nasty music. So
always a good call to do it for the fans, and in this case, it was the right call to do it for the fans, which is, you know, definitely pleasant.
Absolutely. You know, how many K1 seeds have we played where Sheila doesn't have the crystal? Like, does she just always is she like the mastermind behind, you know, killing off Zeromus? What's up with this? Like, I swear every K1 seed I've ever played, she's got the crystal in some way, shape, or form.
Nope, since I wasn't a part of the race, the crystal was not at the top of Keyless Tower, so...
Just like, I was like, why is this the case? I don't understand this. And usually it's either she leads to it or she has it for every K1 seed I've ever played. I don't know, it was just so strange.
I mean,
high item density in a low number of locations.
Yeah.
It's basically a free check.
In this run, that tower had the crystal as well as an adamant armor to set people on their way.
Yes, it did in the form of a rat tail. Well, the rat tail was in Fabul, I thought.
There was an adamant armor in the Fabul tower in the pot.
Yeah, that's right. I grabbed that on the way down. Yeah, I remember that now. I remember having two and just didn't care past that. Once I found out that Rosa could heal, decently through Big Bangs, I stopped checking chests. I was worried about her other armor, but the life staff carried me through. I didn't think it was going to be enough just in other seeds that I've messed with that a life staff on her just didn't get through, but this time it did. It worked out. Yet my Zeromus was, good lord, was he fast. Even with one slow on him, he was so fast, and he just did not want me to have Bacchus on. He did not like Berserk at all. Like, back-to-back black holes, just literally keeping me from doing anything.
Yeah, your Cecil might have been a little bit over-leveled at that point. I think you're around 53, 54. I know you stopped to grind a little bit more from, like, 47-ish.
I was going to get Nuke on Palom, and I was like, I could nerf Big Bangs and just make this easier and probably make it go a little bit faster. And once I realized that he doesn't get Nuke until like 55 or something like that, I was like, I'm not going to spend this time. I'm not going to do it. He's probably going to just eat a Nuke. I'm just going to use slow. I didn't even stop to get Silk Webs, which I forgot where they were at. I thought they were in Baron. I remember seeing them really early, so I could have grabbed those, but I was fine the way it was. So
at the end of the day, Fast Aramis is intimidating, but you did a really good job of diffusing the situation.
Oh yeah, so, Fast.
Congratulations there.
Yeah, Fast Aramis. Whenever you've got, anything on Cecil better than, if you got Excalibur or Crystal Sword, he's just going to be swinging so fast, and it's going to be just nothing to worry about. Especially Adamant Cecil. With that, it doesn't matter. He's going to be swinging so fast, and of course, Edge was equipped pretty good too. I could have moved the Adamant Armor off of him over onto Rosa if I was really worried about it, but no big deal.
Yeah, Fast Aromas is way less scary with Berserkers than he is with the Major Flex strats anyways, because the Major Flex strats, you're on a timer for the most part. You've got to get in 62,000 damage before Zeromus blows you up.
Yeah, and, of course, shout out to the cute little sprite from FF4 Garland. He's so cute. Itty-bitty Garland.
I mean, he will knock you all down. I mean...
Yes.
It didn't knock down a bunch of our runners, though, as we have Rumblefish finishing up the run at this point in time. We had Baka Shinobi... We had Mechalink, in 10th place, 115.13. Baka Shinobi in 11th, 117.48. Our 12th place finisher was Dr. Spin at 118.21. And Rumblefish 82 is finished in lucky number 13th place, 1 hour, 21 minutes, and 50 seconds. While Neon Gray has picked up their pass and looks like they're doing a little bit of wine shopping, picking up 4 cases of alcohol before deciding to head into the final boss fight.
4 cases of alcohol. Man! There's a party at Neon's house. Let's go.
Well, if you notice Neon's team, it's Rosa and 4 big burly men looking to begin Operation Crack Open a Cold One with the boys.
I didn't see that. Oh, Sid. I'm guessing Sid was Baron.
Yeah, Sid was in Baron.
Very happy I didn't go to Baron.
All right, it sounds like we are joined by our 13th place finisher tonight, Rumblefish 82. GG to you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that was quite a seed. It's kind of tease when you get the crystal before you get the pass, or any way to get to the moon to get to Zeromus. But that was one of those seeds for me, at least. Did anybody else get the pass first?
Nope, pass was on the moon. It was in the Hummingway shop, so nobody got the pass before the Darkness Crystal.
I mean, the Crystal. I mean, you had to have the Darkness Crystal before you got the pass, but did anybody get the Crystal before they got the pass?
No, the free pan in Luca Cave, or in Fey March, drove everybody immediately to go hit Yang with it. And so everybody hit Yang with it and immediately went to turn it in, so they immediately got their Earth Crystal and their Crystal. Nobody had done Dwarf Cave first on stream. Or Dwarf Castle, excuse me.
Well, that was just kind of it doesn't surprise me, because once you get to the Underworld, getting that chest in the Fey March is usually where people go first. It's such an easy pickup. And then if you get another easy pickup with the pan, and it's got to hit, you get 2 actually. You get to hit Yang, and then you get to go back to Sheila, and she'll give you 2 key items. So I can see why just about everybody would want to do that.
Yeah, I think the big thing is that you go down there looking for the pass and the crystal together, Occasionally you see the trifecta down there, which is great. You see the pass, the crystal, and the siren, but, you know, today it was just the pan. But it's still a great item to find.
Right. So this seed also was distinctive because it was very generous with the adamants early on, at least for me. Because there was the there was the adamant in Evelyn Cave. Yep. There was another adamant. There was the from the pink tail, which you got from the rat tail, which you got from I think it was Fable.
Yeah, it was from Fable Castle.
That's correct.
So.
And then there was a third adamant. And then where did I get the third adamant from? It was someplace early on.
In the pot in Fable Tower behind the kid who likes to block your path.
Well, there you go. So there was like early adamants early on. And those, of course, make it really helpful for you to beat spot anything at an early level.
Yeah, the only major thing is that, I'm really curious about why you skipped Baron Inn at that point in time, because Baron Inn ended up locking out the Magma Key. It's not like you had a very tough time with the bosses at the tower locations, but you didn't need to do them in the first place.
Oh, well, I found that out later. I just kind of felt like, because normally when I get a hook early on, my instinct is just to declare it a hook seed, and just to go down there. Because I feel like if you're just kind of like, clearing out the world, then you are just delaying the inevitable. I mean, it's not. I know there was a chance. In this case, there was a chance to make it the Magma Key, but I just felt like I'm just going to gamble it and say that it's a hook seed, and then I would get a jump on everybody else because everybody else would be looking futilely for the Magma Key while I was ahead of them. But that wasn't the case in this seed. That was the gamble, and that's probably why I was 13th place. So that's why I went with that decision. In retrospect, I wish I would have gotten the...
You're going to have trouble, so...
What's that?
It's not like with 3 adamants you were going to have trouble, so I can understand the thought process.
That was my reasoning too. With 3 adamants, I was like, I can take whatever was in those spots down there, and they were pretty easy. I was the first one. Well, actually, I take that back. The Ogopogo nearly did kill me because I just threw the spoon at him in desperation. It might have been a little overkill, and then I had the Paladin in the Rubicante spot, and with a bunch of adamants, all I can do is physical attack, really, and slow, so was not much of a challenge.
When you take a gamble like that, it either pays out in your favor and makes you look like a genius, or you look back at it and went, oh, well, there's the break sometimes. So, at the end of the day, not a bad decision, just not correct this time.
Right.
Occasionally rando gonna rando, and by occasionally I mean all the time, and by all the time I mean, seriously all the time. Alright, it looks like Neon Grey is not having Operation Crack a Cold One open with the boys. It's Crack a Cold One open with the boys and your girl Rosa, as we have 5 Berserkers on Neon's Grey's screen right now. They are all in at this point with with the whole lineup.
Neon decided that it was a good time to crack open a cold one themselves. With 5 Berserkers, you just set the controller down and wait for it to end.
Sounds like a potty break if I've ever heard one.
You set the controller down and hope to goodness that your Excalibur Cecil hits hard.
So one question that I had as I was going in, I think I might have done overkill with the levels. I mean, I went to make sure I can't remember, Porum had nuke before I went in. Did anybody else just say, well, I got 3 adamants, I'm just going to go berserk all the way and not level that much?
I had 2 adamants, and I really didn't go to level to get nuke with video or Palom. I just decided to go for virus instead.
Huh, okay.
I figured I had, adamant, or not adamant, but Excalibur, Cecil, Edge, and, Rosa, so I figured why not.
Yeah, I only had 2 adamants myself.
Yeah, I tend not to do that with J2 flags anyway, trying to level for nuke on video, especially.
And of course, sorry to interrupt, we do have a bunch of finishers at this point in time, as Neon Grey has decided that 5 Berserkers was the correct number. We had Akir finishing in 14th, 126.15. Koidrak was 15th, 126 and 55 seconds. Dave UTC was our 16th place finisher at 1:28.17. Of course, GG Neon, you finished in 17th place at 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 49 seconds.
Well done.
Yeah, thank you.
GG, Neon.
GG.
Yeah, I mean, I figured that was, collecting that sand ruby was obviously completely the wrong thing to do, but gotta stay on brand, so hey, I went for him. And from there, at that point, I was looking at it like, you know, might as well show off the absolute safest way, and I am not exaggerating, to kill 5 berserkers.
All right, I'm actually gonna drop out, guys. GG Chakasura for finishing first again. GG everybody else. GG.
All right, GG.
Yes, GG everybody.
So y'all have a good one, and hey, comms, fantastic job. Love y'all, and Scarlet back there making sure everybody knows what's going on. Thank you, and thank you Speed Gaming as well.
Well, thank you for joining us.
All right. Looks like we have come pretty close to the end. I mean, I appreciated the 5 Berserkers Neon, although, you know, it's not usually Rose's thing, especially with only a life staff equipped, but still.
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't berserking so much to actually do damage, but to actually prevent seeing another Big Bang at all. Because if she's berserking, she's jamming up the queue, the action queue even more. So, if I'd kept her unberserked, there was actually a much better chance that I would have had to actually heal somebody, and especially with Kane's crap armor, I leveled him up so he had the hit points, but
It's certainly a strategy, without a doubt.
Well,
At the end of the day, who
so...
doesn't like seeing Zeramus get hit with a stick?
Of course.
Indeed. All right, so we are coming to a close here tonight. Another beautiful run in the books. It looks like at this point, 4 fantastic runners bringing it home. But we are wrapping up. Riker, do you have any final thoughts before we bring this show to a close?
It's always fun to watch a seed that can get out of hand with a darkness crystal and required to advance. I had a great time seeing all these runners. We tune in next week. We have a new one every Friday.
Yep, we'll also be back on Monday on Randomania for our weekly race. The Final Fantasy IV crew, of course, is gearing up for GDQ next month, and then the World Series afterwards. But of course, on Speed Gaming tonight, the Speed Gaming Network is full up all over the business. They've got the Link to the Past tournament in full swing, kind of coming to the end of their Swiss rounds, if my memory serves. Super Metroid and Link to the Past randomizer tournaments also kicking off, so it's going to be beautiful. I believe that's over on Speed Gaming 2 right now. Super Mario World No Star World qualifiers are happening on Speed Gaming as well. So go ahead and check that out as well. Of course, on behalf of the Final Fantasy IV community, Scarlet Kitty, our tracker, our 4 runners, and of course Riker, my co-commentator. It was fantastic to work with you tonight. I am Demarine, and everybody, you can have yourselves a lovely night.